You're listening to Winnipeg's Classic 107. My name is Simon Rasnack. Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra RBC assistant conductor Monica Chen is looking forward to a busy week or so as two of her ensembles, Sistema Winnipeg and the University of Manitoba Symphony Orchestra, have performances upcoming. Monica has joined me in studio this morning alongside her WSO colleague, Brent Johnson, Associate Director of Education and Community. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Brent, I think I got your title right this time.
I think you did.
I sort of made one up for you at the Winnipeg New Music Festival. It was so great being on location and welcoming the participants of the Composers Institute just last week. Monica, you just wrapped up your first WNMF.
Yes.
What was the experience like?
It was quite the whirlwind, I would say. But, the last concert was really quite spectacular.
Indeed, it was. And you're right back to it now as things just keep getting busier.
There's always something coming up in the next week. Always.
So we're going to chat about two performances upcoming.
Yes.
This weekend, there is a concert benefiting Sistema Winnipeg. This is your first year as music director. We spoke to this a few months back, but I'm curious, how's it been going as Sistema's continued through this year for you?
It's always really great to see how the students are progressing long-term, but also thinking long-term for their sake and thinking about how we can improve the program, seeing where we need some more things like properly sized instruments, for example, to really help them grow in the best way possible. And I'm just kind of getting through all the students and individually to see what they need, and then kind of bringing them to the administration side to see what we can do to help them, and as well as with the teachers too.
Now, I'm sure most of the listeners are aware because we love talking about Sistema Winnipeg here at Classic 107, but the program aims to help youth make a difference in their world and communities through the skills and connections developed and nurtured through music. You've already spoken to this a little bit, but I'm wondering if you could talk more on how maybe you've noticed a change in the students since the start of the year. Like music can build confidence and foster friendships. Have you noticed that in your experience?
For sure, especially since we've had some very exciting performance opportunities recently, not just the last final winter concert in December, but also recently they got the chance to sing at a Moose game.
That's right, I saw it online.
Yeah.
They did so well.
Mm-hmm. And I thought there was our first time doing this concert or singing the anthem. And though I wasn't able to be there because I was at NMF, I heard that there was lots of excitement overall, all around.
Brent, you were at that.
I was.
That Moose game, weren't you?
It was great. And I have to shout out to True North Sports and Entertainment for being really supportive and generous. And just working with us to make such a positive community building experience for the families of the students. We had a really large group of people come to support the students and enjoy an evening together as families and as community. And it was a lot of fun.
You've been involved in Sistema Winnipeg for quite some time now.
A while now, yeah.
I was going to say probably since the get-go, if I had to guess.
In different ways, yes, since the beginning, and certainly in the since the onset of COVID in a much bigger way, yeah.
In terms of, your experience and what you've seen with Sistema Winnipeg, is there sort of one thing that to you seems most important about the initiative?
It's that it gives kids a chance that they wouldn't potentially have otherwise. I could talk at length about the research that we've done about the program, but at the end of the day, it's providing kids with a community that helps them build self-confidence, self-worth, and those are things that will carry them forward out into the world and into their lives and into their communities as they become adults, and that makes such a big difference.
Now, in terms of making a difference, this a benefit concert, the proceeds going towards Sistema Winnipeg. What are the proceeds going toward? You already spoke to this idea of properly sized instruments, Monica. Mm-hmm. Is there sort of one goal in mind, or is it a day-to-day operations? Because we know that there are a lot of costs associated with a program such as this.
Yeah, well, Sistema Winnipeg is a really unique program, and we depend entirely on individual funders. We have some corporate sponsors, and there's a lot of donors that believe in this cause and in the kids and in the work that the program does in the communities it serves. And that's what we need to keep this going. We're also really thankful for the partnership we have with Seven Oaks School Division and Winnipeg School Divisions, the two communities that are home to Sistema, because they bring a lot to the table in terms of making this program possible too. But it really does take a village to raise these children, and that's the support we're looking for. It's funny, you were talking, Monica, about sizes of instruments, and so particularly for string instruments, that's a thing. You start, maybe our youngest students are in grade 1, and so maybe you're starting on a quarter-sized or maybe even an eighth-size instrument for the really little ones, but they keep growing. My own kids have outgrown their shoes twice already this year, and so it's much the same in the land of right-sized string instruments for these kids. Their bodies are getting bigger, and so we need to meet those needs and follow their journey.
Monica, as a string player yourself, can you speak to the importance of having an instrument that fits you?
So having the properly sized instrument, it's kind of like having the right size shoe, except it's better to have a smaller size than a larger size. Since the violin is asymmetrical, it means that your body has to be so centered and so balanced in order to take on this asymmetry. So if you have an instrument that's too large, you're going to have too much weight on one side, and that's going to unbalance you, and you're actually going to develop long-term some injury problems if you don't have if it's too large for you. But also, like, the length of the bow as well, you can strain muscles that actually causes injury if you don't have the proper size.
Very important that these kids have the right size instruments, especially looking long-term as they continue to hopefully play music and make music together and be involved in the program and others. This is a benefit concert in memory of Judith Prescott Flynn. Brent, can you tell us a little bit more about who she was?
Judith was just an absolutely wonderful person. I've heard the adjective force used many times in describing Judith. She was a force. When she got behind an idea, there was so much passion and drive there to make it happen. And that's my understanding of how this event came to be several years ago in partnership with St. John's College and the Desautels Faculty of Music, both at University of Manitoba, which is my alma mater. And so that's kind of cool too. It was nice. It's nice to be reconnecting with some folks in some places that I haven't set foot on in quite a long time. And yeah, Judith and Arlene and other folks there, see the value and the impact of Sistema and just wanted to support it. And this was a community event that they conceived in partnership with those organizations for the benefit of Sistema. And that's what we will see again on Sunday. This event has not happened since February of 2020. We all know what happened about a month after that. So in that respect, it's exciting to have it back and to be reconnecting with folks in that regard. It's very much a friend raiser as much as it is a fundraiser as well. It'll be a good experience for the students as well.
So again, it's this Sunday, February 11th, 2 p.m. in the very resonant acoustic of St. John's Chapel. Monica, one last question for you before we take a little bit of a break. What's on the program?
So we're going to have not only Sistema, our youngest group, the Vivaldis, playing the orchestra song, our middle group playing some classics like Can Can and Hot Cross Buns, but also we're going to have some, on top of having our Beethovens doing their new pieces with some composed by one of our very own divisional teacher, Leah Ross, but also we have two guests of UMSO players coming in to do some chamber music as well. We've got a brass quintet and as well as a piano quartet as well coming in. So it'll be a nice mix from all sides to have that wonderful union between Sistema and UMSO.
Well, it should be a wonderful afternoon of music making, again, in benefit of Sistema Winnipeg this Sunday, the 11th at 2 p.m. More details at classic107.com or sistemawinnipeg.ca. Tickets are just $20 for adults, $10 for students and youth. And, we're going to hear a little bit of piano quartet music. The opening movement to the Schumann Quartet in E-flat. And then after the break, we'll continue the conversation with Monica, so keep tuned.